and welcome back to the M2 Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Anthony. My co host right here is Kyle Heath. This is the show where we cover gaming industry related news of the last week. What we have this week is we're going to talk a little bit about Rockstar Games acquiring a studio that is famous for making the LA Noire VR. They also had a scrapped GTA San Andreas title. Of course, I got to talk about Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4. There's going to be a remaster. We're going to talk about everything we know so far. It's not a whole lot, but it's enough to be passionate. There's also the Russo brothers are very much open to doing a upcoming Avengers game with the new Avengers movies in mind, and also Acclaim, a studio that I feel like anybody over the age of like 30 knows. The youngins might not, but pretty famous studio. We're gonna get into that and how their return could be something kind of interesting. But before we get into it, Kyle, how you been, dude? How you been going? What have you been up to?
Hey, dude, I've just been chilling for the most part. Um, Only games I really played this week. I played Repo. I don't know if you've seen clips of that. On like the
Repo, is it what it sounds like? You just driving a tow truck going around stealing everybody's cars that miss payments?
nah, it's way funnier and has nothing to do with actual vehicle repossessions.
Oh, okay.
It's well,
What is it?
so Repo. It's like there's some aspects in it that's like a repossession kind of thing, but essentially it's like just like a indie little like horror game that someone made. It's multiplayer. And the whole idea is you're essentially like these people that are hired to go to like haunted houses or haunted places and try and repossess materials within the house and like take it back, kind of like take it back to, I guess, the manufacturer. I don't know. But essentially, like
Interesting.
it's funny because like you go to these places and there's like all sorts of monsters and you have to get a certain monetary value of stuff out in order to leave. So it's kind of like you're going through all these cabinets, going through the place, and just kind of stealing what you can. But what's funny too is like as you grab and hold things, like the physics is like it almost like hovers in front of you. But as you move, if you bump it into things, it decreases the value of the item, and so like eventually, like some items will just flat out break, and you just don't get anything from it. Um,
Oh no.
but yeah, so it's funny like playing with like the janky physics to try and like get bigger items like sold and stuff like that. Um, but I mean the best part about it is like they encourage like in-game chat. So like you're supposed to use
Yeah.
the in-game chat because it's like it's very prominent to the experience. And so essentially everyone goes into game chat, go through these places. There's like tons of clips too on TikTok of like people just having a good time on this game. But like there's like some genuine like monsters that can like jump scare you, and it's one of those
Oh
things.
no.
It's like a multiplayer horror game essentially, but it's got a lot of funny elements and a lot of like just kind of weirdness and wackiness, and there's a lot of kind of mysteries to unfold if someone does decide to play it. But I don't know, dude. It's a
That's pretty
fun like
wild,
horror
dude.
party game, dude. It's a lot of fun. It's like all the rage right now, and it's only like $8 on Steam, so super
Oh,
cheap.
okay.
And
So you're gonna get
yeah,
everybody on there.
yeah,
Nice.
exactly. It's like if you want to play, it's very low barrier of entry. Just buy the game and play. But yeah, dude, I played with a bunch of people a couple nights ago and had a blast. I definitely want to play it again. So it's one of those things like it's a lot of fun. I don't know how much mileage I'd really get out of it, but it's definitely worth $8. So I
Yeah, if
would
it's worth eight
recommend it.
dollars, then it's worth eight
Yeah,
dollars. Yeah,
exactly.
that's
It's
good.
100% worth it.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So and yeah, dude, there's so many funny things about it. I can go on, but I will save surprises and all that for people that decide to play it. But yeah, I would definitely recommend it. So a lot
Oh,
of fun
very cool,
there.
dude.
A lot of fun there. I think game wise, that was all I really played. I never got back to Avowed this week, so I think
Oh, that's kind of a bummer. I mean,
yeah,
but
maybe
hey,
this week
switching
we'll
up is
see. I
kind of
mean,
nice too.
yeah, the drive just
Yeah,
really wasn't there to play Avowed for me this week. In all honesty, so I think
I feel that.
I'll eventually sit down and get around to it. Actually, try and play it because it's really not a long game, so I just sitting down and playing.
I can totally relate, man. I've been basically consumed with just work stuff and like IRL stuff, trying to find a new place to stay. But hey, one of the quick updates that we had is I finally booked the like mansion slash lanchen is what we're calling it to have everybody stay,
Like
play Halo. So May 1st to the 5th, we're gonna have to figure that out. I got some guys I'm working with to try to get some. We're gonna be streaming it for sure. Probably on like the Halo 2 Real Ones channel or whatever. Maybe if possibly I can talk to the LVT guys and see if they're any interest of casting it possibly. We'll see. I
They're pretty
would I
sick.
would imagine that if we can make it easy from a tech perspective, they would probably do it just because it's like it's content for them. So that can be good for them. Uh, Outside of that, man, not much else for me, dude. I've been playing a lot of Marvel Rivals, solo queuing. It's been brutal. I'm kind of tired of it. Spent most of my time, as you know, just stuck in the office doing a lot of work. And
Yeah.
what did Nick say to us? He said it's like I'm doing Sims, but it's like a super advanced version of Sims.
Like
Because it's
very
kind of
hard
true. It's like
mode.
I'm designing an entire building
Oh yeah,
with
yeah.
everything that goes in it. It's tough.
Real life mode.
Yeah, actually, it's what's it called? Hardcore mode.
Exactly. Hardcore Sims.
Survive. Yes,
Everything
hardcore
you build
Sims
matters.
survival mode. All modes are all mods enabled.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Yeah,
you're
man.
at the whims of a team and other people too, so there's other factors.
Yeah, it's very true. I've been trying to work towards the effort of getting ahead of everybody so that nobody's waiting on me and that I
Yeah.
can stay one step ahead. And that'd be nice because it puts me back in the situation I was in before where it's like with the workload we had, we're outnumbered now because it's discipline based. But when we were evenly matched, it was like we can just crush it for an entire week. And, oh, excuse me, and basically go into a state of coasting. Not because it's like we didn't have any work to do, but because we did everything up front. Um, yeah, but
Yeah. It's a good spot to be. Hopefully you can get back there.
it, it is. Yeah, I mean that's the goal. Just going into the holidays. I was literally talking to coworkers. I'm like, dude, we don't have a whole lot going on in terms of the weather's not very good right now. It's been sporadic. We can't really take advantage of like the outdoors. There are no good games out right now. I mean, there are good games. I shouldn't say that, but it's like we're not in the peak season of new releases. It's
Yeah.
mostly just kind of a holding period. I know you and I were having some difficulty finding some articles for this week and new news and updates.
Yeah.
Just March always seems like a little bit of a like a dull period for now
Yeah.
in terms of just like breaking news,
Yeah.
not like new releases.
Yeah,
But
news wise, yeah. I mean, I'll say,
yeah,
like, to be fair, there are certainly a lot of new releases in the last month that have been
yes,
like huge successes. It's just not stuff we typically play. I mean,
yeah,
full disclosure, I've like there's been a couple times where I'm like I've like been thinking about caving and getting KCD 2 because I've been seeing more reviews of people talking
yeah,
about like how good it is. And it's just like, oh man, after playing Avowed, it's like I want like a I don't know, I kind of want an immersive RPG, so I'm like trying to refrain myself for a little while to see if see if it'll go away.
yeah.
But I don't know. I'm getting the itch to try and dive into an RPG again. I don't know. So we'll see.
Yeah, I get
See
that,
if I
dude.
cave.
I should have so like last night or the night before I was even thinking about just booting up the Xbox to start Indiana Jones because it's been downloaded on my Xbox this entire time. I just haven't
Yeah.
had the opportunity to really play it. And I also want to stream more, but like the drive when I get home after a very long day because I've been grinding, dude, like full throttle.
Yeah.
It's
I
like
feel it.
I just want to sit down. I want to eat some pizza, some pastas. I want to smash a whole buttload of ice cream, and then I want to put on these videos of people playing Beast or Bermuda or the other dinosaur games like The Isle, watching Summit play. So it's like I'm still consuming in terms of like just content, but I haven't been playing. I need
Yeah.
to get back into playing.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy sitting down once a week and just going through games. I'm really excited to dive into like Tony Hawk because those are games I grew up with. I still have all my copies. I
Yeah.
got them on N64. It's like, dude, playing those again, and if they do them right, I hope so because it's like all the things that I see with Tony Hawk. He doesn't know anything about video games, but he understands that people love them, and I'm hoping because he has kids that are like at the age of like Fortnite playing young games and stuff, or new games, I should say, maybe that will inspire him to have more online capabilities. Because having the ability to playing old school games that you used to play like in your living room with childhood friends, and then being able to do that
Yeah.
again in the future, like the present day but online, that'd be nice. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it certainly would be. Yeah, I'm excited to see more. I have, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3. I think I
nice.
may also have 4 back there, like some they're on one of these shelves or like back there.
Yeah.
Um, I definitely have it there. Yeah, I loved 4. I loved 3. 3 was like one of my go tos. Even American Wasteland, which is outside of the Pro Skater stuff, but
I
such a
loved
dope game.
American Wasteland.
Yeah.
What was your favorite Tony Hawk game? It's hard.
It's hard. I mean, I liked Underground 2. I played some Underground 2.
Same.
Really like that. American Wasteland was probably what I'm most nostalgic for because it's the one where I was like, that was when I was like peak into Tony Hawk. So I was just
Yeah.
I played
That's
that
fair.
game multiple times and just like loved every aspect of it. Played it again not too long ago, and yeah, I played for a few hours and just had a nostalgia trip. But yeah, I mean probably American Wasteland. But I mean 3 and 4 are, I think, probably the best pro skaters like that were
Yeah.
out. So
Yeah, they're the most classic, I think. For me, it had to be Underground 2 because of the story.
yeah,
I love the story of Underground
yeah,
2. It was so cool just to like start from the bottom, work your way up. You get to go to the thing that I loved was the fact that I used to watch like a whole bunch of skating videos and I used to watch a whole bunch of BMX videos. I was really big into BMX videos, so I got like into a whole bunch of people. Like Scotty Kramer is probably one of the biggest ones I got into, but there was tons and tons of people that like only rode dirt, only rode like park or street or whatever. But skating was pretty much a niche because that became more of a established sport, kind of like X Games, where they had jams they called individual tournaments in different areas. And Underground 2 had those tournament parks in the game. And it was like that's so cool. You can go watch like the actual tournaments and the jams and
yeah.
the
That was sick.
videos all for free, like online and stuff. And this is like sometimes you download them illegally on LimeWire, but then you jump over and actually get to play the game while the
Right.
video is going as well. It was so cool.
That's pretty sick.
It was very, very, yeah,
Yeah.
good old nostalgia. And I'm sure it's gonna be good. It'll probably be like what we remember, and it's I think most importantly, it's like I'm so used to playing old school retro games on the old Xbox. I'm gonna be unfazed with like playing a new version that's like remastered and stuff, better graphics. I just hope they add more features that are good for the life of the game.
Yeah. Quality of life improvements is what you really look for in
Yeah,
games like this.
quite
So yeah.
honestly, yeah, yeah.
I mean,
It should be able to be
yeah.
run on like any phone too, because it was run on such an old like old hardware.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, but
Yeah.
anyways, man, how about we jump into the start of this week's episodes or like articles, I guess.
So we're gonna talk about Rockstar acquiring Aussie studio founded by LA Noire director. This is Ian Walker over at Polygon. Been a while, I feel like, since covered Polygon, but Ian over here will fill us in. So Rockstar Games announced on March 1st its acquisition of the Sydney-based Video Games Deluxe. The studio will henceforth be known as Rockstar Australia. After working together closely over many years, we are excited to have Video Games Deluxe join the team as Rockstar Australia. Rockstar head of publishing Jennifer Colby said, Video Games Deluxe was founded in 2013 by Brendan McNamara. It's crazy, crazy last name. I got it though. Who wrote and
That's a
directed
famous last name, I think. To be
McNamara.
honest,
Sounds like a skateboarder or something that had McNamara as his last name. I think it's something
you're
else.
right.
It
Yeah.
sounds familiar. Something like that. Anyways, Brendan wrote and directed LA Noire at his previous studio, Team Bondi. I should say that right. LA Noire was published by Rockstar in 2011, but the relationship between it and Team Bondi deteriorated following an IGN report alleging poor working conditions at the Australian studio. Despite this past unpleasantness, however, Video Games Deluxe has since worked with Rockstar over the last several years on various LA Noire re-releases as well as upgrades to GTA The Trilogy, the Definitive Edition. Yeah, and to their credit too, it was a pretty like big update on that Definitive Edition trilogy for GTA that was actually pretty good and like improved a lot of stuff that was wrong about it. So
Yeah.
it's good to always see. They said it's been an honor to work closely with Rockstar Games this past decade, McNamara said. We are thrilled to be a part of Rockstar Games and to continue our efforts to make the best games possible. Although no information was provided as to what Rockstar's new studio Down Under will be working on, it's safe to assume all hands are on deck for the launch of GTA 6 later this year. Polygon reached out to Rockstar about its past with McNamara and Rockstar Australia's role moving forward, but did not hear back before publication. Request for comment, as some say. Unfortunately, not hear that. So, I mean, I think it's interesting.
Mhm.
I like good on Rockstar for acquiring the studio that they work closely with and hopefully making the environment better. I think it's really good, but it makes you wonder if they are working on or helping out with GTA 6, I should say. Wonder what capacity that work involves because it's like you're on the other side of the planet. It's like time differences are crazy, so it makes me wonder. Like, kind of, I'm assuming it's probably like ancillary stuff that they're helping out with, if anything.
Yeah.
Um,
I think that's fair. Like in my work, we have some people that are in Scotland and Spain, and that is like a 5 hour difference. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Spain is still in 5 hours. Uh, it's not that extreme, of course. Like 12, where Australia is 12 hours or more. That's pretty intense.
yeah,
But like you're saying, it's more of a helping role. I think that your design leads and your studio heads are probably based more in the local headquarters and they're taking a commanding role, and then the people that are in the other offices are likely the designers or assistants, like kind of. I don't want to say grunt work because what they're doing is not grunt work. It's like making the dream come true. They're doing
yeah,
the actual work.
right, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I think
it's
that's
almost like doing. Oh my gosh, I just had an epiphany. Could you can? I'm not saying they're doing this, but I could consider it being similar to first, second, and third shifts on an assembly line. First shift is gonna have,
yeah,
like, CEO is gonna be there, executives are gonna be there, head manager are gonna be there. Secondary shifts are gonna be like, well, that's when the regional, like, middle management starts leaving towards the end of the night. They're not gonna stay there all the time, but you still got your shift leads, and then the night shift is just, "Here's your quota, get it done." It could
right,
be
yeah,
could be similar to that, you know?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's certainly true. Look, you're acquiring the LA Noir studio. There's only one IP I would like them to bring back in a big way, and that is LA Noire. Like, I loved
Sure.
LA Noire so much. It's one of my favorite
You
games
did, yeah.
because it's very different. It's very I don't know. You put on that detective hat, and so it's like sure, it's a bit formulaic and like kind of how you figure stuff out. But like just going to a scene, discovering clues, and then going and actually talking to individuals, and like the tech at the time for the facial animations was ahead of its time because it's like they
Oh,
spent a
yeah.
lot of time on that. So it's like you just seeing those facial animations, even if it is like you know grainy and just kind of not up to today's standard. It's like I think just seeing that it was very it was just I mean it was so far ahead of most studios, especially with that kind of tech. And so I mean just seeing that it was so different. And so I love seeing different ideas. And I think seeing something like that, I nowadays it's like I want to see what this tech would look like in today's landscape and kind of what technology is capable of now, what these engines are capable of. You could really kind of like take it to the max and even add additional things onto it that's not just like that part of the game. There's probably a whole host of other things you could do to like switch up the formula a little bit. But like it's such a
Yeah, I think
this
you're
is
right, yeah.
such this is such a good IP, I think. So I would love to see a continuation of it. So maybe this could open that door. I don't know. I mean, I know Rockstar's got. I mean, right now, Rockstar. I guess the two big things really are GTA and Red Dead. It's kind of their two mega IPs, and then I think at one point they worked on Max Payne and like some more kind of like lower stuff. But I would love to see Ellen Noir come back, do like a sequel of some sort, or do like another, whole different story. It just because I love the underlying mechanics.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It's tough to deal with because it goes back to what we were saying, like how how greedy or how money motivated is Rockstar going to be to get over the finish line with the new GTA? What do they plan on doing with it? If it involves taking a bunch of different studios, acquiring new studios that were previously making like games that you beloved, LA Noir, or anything similar to that, it's like what happens to those studios? I'm pretty sure Ubisoft also did the same thing. They were going around buying a whole bunch of different studios and then just cutting out IPs altogether, or repurposing their existing studios that were under their umbrella to other games. And next thing you know, it's one or two games aren't successful enough. I'm not saying Grand Theft Auto is going to be that, but Ubisoft can definitely showcase that some games that they launched and repurposed their studios into, not a wise decision when they had better IPs available. Um, it'll be interesting to see. Maybe it could be one of the scenario where it's like once they get over the hump of what they're trying to do with like um, taking over the LA Noire studio, what will happen to that IP? Hopefully, it comes back. That'd be really cool. Or maybe they have a very similar game, but it has maybe a different scenario, like era.
Yeah.
Uh, because the LA Noire is, if I'm not mistaken, it's more like built in the 1920s, right?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, 40s, I think, something like that.
40s it is? Okay.
Yeah,
So,
around that
yeah,
era.
so close to like 80 to 100 years ago. And when we get to that point, they could they could do other eras now too. Could
Yeah,
be really interesting. Maybe doing the 60s or I don't know, 80s. Who knows what could be told in the future.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Or just repurpose what their vision is for storytelling to something else.
yeah. I mean, I think, it's, I talk about this LA Noir like studio and stuff like that. I mean, I mean, it was founded by the LA Noir director, so it's someone that was close with it, like an important role that was close to it. So, I mean, that's they mention. I mean, I think for the sake of the article, it kind of mentions the LA Noir piece because it's like, oh, a lot of people know that game and they understand like this is there's ties to the people that created that game at the studio. So I mean, it's not to say the studio would necessarily like actually work on an LA Noir. But I think there's still a group of people out there. I know there's a big enough audience that they made another LA Noir. People would jump on it. So I don't know, dude. The IP is still has value. I think so. I'd love to see it, but it's probably a far cry or far stretch from what will actually happen with the studio. So
Yeah, it's so hard to tell because everything's so money motivated. You don't really know unless you're in the meetings and you make the decisions,
yeah,
and that's just kind of the sad reality.
yeah. Um, I mean, just and all the subject of Rockstar too. I would love. I mean, Rockstar is one of the few studios left in the space that is like has a known reputation of quality that they have not necessarily tarnished at any point. Like CD Projekt Red was really good. Then Cyberpunk came out, and that tarnished
They
their
they
studio.
did
So
have a hiccup. That's for certain.
Bethesda, king of RPGs, and then all of a sudden they don't update their tech, and now we're like 10 years, removed from what used to be a really good studio. So I mean, Rockstar, I'm just hoping they steer the ship and they do it good. But I think like if Rockstar is seeing them, I don't want them to diversify too much that it would affect the quality of their main games. But it's also like I know they can deliver good games, so I'd love to see kind of smaller studios go under their wing and then work on some of the IPs that aren't necessarily the main Rockstar, North America's focus kind of thing. So I don't know. It's hopeful, but it'd
Yeah,
be nice to see.
that's true. I mean, the weird scenario is the fact that like Grand Theft Auto, in terms of Rockstar Games, they basically have been working on Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead Redemption, uh, a little bit of LA Noire, actually, because the VR stuff. But honestly, there's really not that much more that they've done. So I think they have found a really good formula for the type of game they want to make, which
Yeah,
makes them very consistent and makes it so they can release games that are finished and successful right off the bat, and people know what to expect. Also, Max Payne would be another addition. That was
yeah.
Rockstar Games as well.
It was originally
Um,
Remedy, but then Rockstar picked up three. And
true.
Remedy
Yeah, that's very true.
making a 1 and 2 remake, which I'm super excited for.
Yeah.
It's one of those
Yeah.
things. I mean, yeah, I think. I mean, yeah, you know what? We're forgetting one IP too that was very controversial, especially at the time it came out, and that was good old Manhunt. I don't know if you remember that game,
Oh
but
yeah,
it's
yeah, I
essentially
do.
you're the
Yes.
guy like murdering like people that are like essentially filming smut. So it's like you just go around you're
Yep.
like murdering these people, and it's like very graphic. And I remember at the time of release, it was very controversial. It was like, oh, why? Because it was at a time too where it's like games were like GTA and stuff was really like hitting, and so it was like, oh, we should actually like probably like this could be an issue, but also like comes
Yeah.
back to like it's not an issue, it's an art form, and it's a whole debate, right? But um, but yeah, dude, that was what Rockstar was good at, dude. Is like spit it, creating these games, starting conversations. But at the end of the day, they just make good quality games that make people think and piss people off. But that's how you know you're doing something good is when you're making people mad. So it's a
Yeah,
crazy history.
I think you're right. Alrighty, boss man. Should we
It's
jump
just crazy.
into the next
It's your main topic
on
of
to
this
the
week.
next episode? Yeah, it's one of the favorite topics that I had. I was excited to hear about it and then excited to watch the trailer. So, what we're talking about is Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 Remaster. It was revealed literally this week. In this article is coming from IGN, Michael Hyam. So, he wrote an article basically talking about the release date, the parks, the skaters, the music, and more. So, if you ever played Tony Hawk Pro Skater, you're probably going to be interested in this one. I'm super interested and super excited because it showed like side by side footage and renderings of the original game mixed with the remastered. And honestly, I think it's a welcome for me personally because I love the skate games as well. Skate is like kind of, I'm not saying it's like hyper realistic, but it's more realistic than Tony Hawk. Tony Hawk is very arcadey and just fun and kind of silly.
I'd very
Kind
much
of how
agree with
games
that.
are supposed to be
Yeah.
because sometimes it just doesn't always need to be realistic, man. Just let people have fun.
Yeah.
Um, I really like that, but I also am desperate for another skate game or Tony Hawk Pro Skater game. And the fact that this is a remaster, hopefully it's well, first of all, first I hope it's really good,
Yeah.
and then I hope it also sells well because if it sells well, then that shows the industry that there is still a market for extreme sports and we need more of those. Like, I want a new snowboarding game really bad. I want a new BMX game. BMX, for whatever reason, is just very difficult for them to make video games on.
Yeah.
The physics are kind of wonky and weird, just in general. But
Shout out Matt
skating
Hoffman.
shouldn't be that difficult. Yeah, Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX
Yeah,
too.
dude, I
Where
have
you
that.
at?
I have BMX too. I think and one.
It's somewhere over there in that stack.
Yeah.
But the point I'm trying to make is the same. It's like we need more extreme sports because it's like if you, we need something new, man. Even if it's a remaster,
Yeah.
it feels new
Hey, new skate. It's
because
on
it's
the
been
way.
so long.
It's on the way, Mike. They're taking 5 million
It's
years, but
been
it's on the way.
on the way forever. It's like Skull and Bones. It's on the way. It's not
Trying
gonna
to
be
make it
Skull
an
and Bones, hopefully.
immersive multiplayer experience.
Dude, you can make it whatever you want. Just make it. That's where I'm at. Okay, let's get into it. So, the legendary skateboarding franchise is back for another round of remasters with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4, bringing the two classic entries to the modern era. It's currently available for pure pre-order. It's the same vein as the 2021's remaster in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, with modern graphics and familiar gameplay. But this time it's being done by developer Iron Galaxy. Iron Galaxy is known for porting games and original releases such as Rumbleverse and Killer Instinct. As far as content goes, it will feature all the skate parks from both games as well as the new one released at the end of Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 reveal trailer. It's a new level called Water Park and looks to be large and abandoned. Well, a water park with a lot of vertically and verticality. Sorry, verticality and rides, ramps, and railings making up the level. Skaters from the previous remaster will return in addition to another batch of newcomers, including uh, apologies because I'm going to butcher this. Raisa, I'm pretty sure. Raisa,
Yeah, I think
Ra-
Raja. That's my
Raja,
guess. I think
Raja sounds better.
Raja sounds that's my guess.
Leah, Lael, Chloe Cavell, Jamie Foy, Zion Wright, and Yuto Horigomi. So there is a bit of a trailer here. It's a minute and
Oh
30
yeah.
seconds long. For those of you that are watching on either the wonderful place of Spotify or YouTube, you can check it out. It's being played. Um, yeah, so it just shows Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 official reveal trailer. Very short, very sweet. It's on YouTube. If you want, you need to go check it out there. It's on the official Tony Hawk Pro Skater website. You're going to see, if you ever play Tony Hawk Pro Skater from 3 and 4, you're going to see a whole lot of levels that look very familiar. They're very cool. Um, yeah, I mean, a lot of fancy moves that were always in the game that look fun. And typical Tony Hawk Pro Skater stuff that you would expect. And it's just nice to see it in better graphics. They go into showing the exact grinds and transitions from the old original games side by side with updated graphics from the remaster. So it's pretty cool. So while it's confirmed that there will be new songs for the soundtrack, those have yet to be revealed. However, we have several songs you remember from the old games will return for the soundtrack, and while the full list hasn't been revealed yet, here are the confirmed tracks. Oh boy, some of these are pretty old that I don't really remember that well. Uh, a MOBA by Adolescence, Ace of Spades by Motorhead, Mass Appeal by Gangstar, 96 Quite Bitter Beings by CKY, Not the Same by Body Jar, Outta Here by KRS-One. So there will be cross-platform online multiplayer for up to 8 players. That's what I'm excited about. Yo, check out 8 players. That'd be pretty sick. I hope it's like free play and you can do whatever you want, and a robust version of the Create a Park mode where players can make and share their own custom parks. That's going to be really cool. It gives people the opportunity to be like, yo, set the max like score on my park kind of thing. You have a whole leaderboard, have a whole community built around that. That can
Yeah.
be sounds pretty cool. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 isn't too far off. The remaster of 3 and 4 is set to launch July 11th this year for PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox One, and Series X and S, Nintendo Switch, and PC. It'll be on PC via Steam, Microsoft Store, and Battle.net. The game will be available on day one through Xbox Game Pass. Shout out to Xbox Game Pass. And those who pre-order the deluxe or collector's edition can access the game early on July 8th. So you get, what is that, 3 days? Yeah, 3 days early.
Yeah.
The standard version is $50 USD, pretty tough. The deluxe is $70, even tougher. And that at least comes with a Doom Slayer and Revenant skater skin. Um, the skins are freaking sick, by the way. You can find them very briefly at the end of the trailer. If you pause it,
Yeah.
you might be able to see it. So
Yo.
yeah, you might have to reload the page.
Yeah. Whoops.
So there is exclusive in-game decks and create a skater items, as well as an additional songs for the soundtrack, like the original Doom E1 M1 theme song, done by a full band. The collector's edition is $130 and includes all the aforementioned bonuses, but also comes with an exclusive physical skate deck by Birdhouse. That's pretty wild. Comes with a
Yeah.
physical skate deck by Birdhouse. Interesting. I want to see more about that and see what kind of skate deck it is. Probably like a little small one, possibly.
Probably.
Those who pre-order now can get access to the playable Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 demo starting today. It includes 2 skaters and 2 parks, along with a few songs from the soundtrack. Pretty cool. What do you think, Kyle?
I mean, certainly excited to see more. I think. I mean, it's cool that it's like so soon. It's like only have to wait till July. Get the remakes. I think it's cool to get the announcement. It's like only a few months out. How it's very Fallout 4 of them, you know. It's like I'll
Yeah.
never forget that. It was like they announced at E3, and they were like, "Oh, it's coming out in November."
Dang.
So it's like not far off. It's cool to see that.
Stay ready.
Yeah, but I mean, so standard version is $50, Deluxe edition 70. I mean, I think it seems relatively reasonable. And just I don't know. Yeah, it's very doesn't seem like it's very I mean, rightfully so. I don't think it should be like I wouldn't expect it to be like $70 or something like that for the standard edition. So doesn't really surprise me. I think that it's at that price point. I think the Doom theme is kind of cool. Like you need like the Doom E1M1 theme song with like
Yeah.
the exclusive editions. I think it's pretty interesting because I saw like some like teaser banners and stuff of like the Doom guy and then Tony Hawk in there. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, outside of that, I mean, I'm curious to. I mean, I think just seeing that little, seeing the trailer and kind of seeing the graphics and everything, I thought was pretty interesting. I'll reload the page so I can see these decks at the end.
I'll see if
of
I
it.
can find it for you too.
These decks. Oh yeah, there it all is. Yeah. See, you get the Doom Slayer skater, and Revenant guy. I think it's
Yes,
pretty cool.
dude. It looks so sick.
It's kind of funny
I'm,
that you
I'm
get
big
it
into
as
Doom.
just riding around on a board as the Doom Slayer. It's funny. Yeah, I mean, dude, create a skater apparel. I mean, come on. Yeah, see,
It's pretty cool.
the Doom collab's interesting. It's not something I would expect. So seeing that is it's kind of funny. But yeah, I mean, this is 2 months after the next Doom game, right? So
Yeah.
it's kind of fitting around that same time frame. Yeah, man, I don't know. I'm excited to see more. I mean, I don't know if I'll add. I mean, I think the fact that it's like Game Pass, come on, dude. I don't have to buy it. Let's go.
The Game Pass section of all of it is the best thing about it for me. If I was really interested in getting like the collector's edition and being prepared to like spend the extra cash, I know a handful of people that will definitely get the collector's edition for like resale value in the future.
Yeah,
But for me personally, nah. It's gonna be a game because it's a remaster. I'm really excited to play it. I'm really glad it's on Game Pass because it means I don't have to like pay for it, and it'll be easier to get more friends on the game. Just to have that opportunity to be like, "Yo, you already have Game Pass. Just download this, play some like rounds of Skate with me. It'd be fun." And then, yeah,
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the biggest sell for me, dude. Getting that on Game Pass. I mean, the probably the main reason people would get the deluxe or collector's editions too would be if they really want early access. You get on July
yeah,
8th. It's typical industry standard now. You get a few days early access if you really want it. So,
yep.
um, yeah, I mean, I have my opinions on that. There's some games, surely I will pay extra for to play early. Like I know you're very steadfast, Mike, on kind of holding your ground there, not getting
Yeah,
games early. But I don't know. I will
never.
admit I could be a shill sucker for some stuff. So I won't lie. and this
Whatever
and
it takes.
see, and this is the thing, Mike. I know I'm the problem, right? Like I know there's a lot of people like me have the same
Yes, you are.
mindset, and that's the problem. So, but I don't know, dude. Sometimes I just accept that I'm just a part of this wheel, dude. I'm part of these executives milking us gamers,
You're part of the problem, man. It's all right though. Um, it's your money. Do what you want with it. Not for me though. I'm just mostly looking forward to playing a little bit of a skate game for a while, and hopefully I can get some old friends on the game. Some
um,
friends I used to play with a long time ago.
yeah,
Shoot them
this
a text and
is
be like, "Hey, you're still alive, right? Oh yeah, cool. Download this, please."
this is the ultimate couch game where I definitely would see me download this on the Xbox and play it on the couch. So,
Yes, sir. This is the way.
oh, definitely.
All right, sir. How about you hit us up with what's going on with the Russo brothers and Avengers and possible video games?
This could be an interesting one. So, this comes from Video Games Chronicle. Tom Ivan, a namesake, the staple of video game at VGC. He reports that Russo brothers definitely open in quotes to developing games tied to the upcoming Avengers movies. Production company founded by the Russo brothers has big plans in the gaming space. Russo brothers have said their production company AGBO is receptive to the idea of developing games tied to their upcoming Avengers movies. Having previously co-directed Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, plus 2 Captain America films, Joe and Anthony Russo are helming next year's Avengers Doomsday and 2027's Avengers Secret Wars. Their most recent film, The Electric State, launches this week on Netflix, and AGBO helped the streaming giant develop a tie-in mobile game, which is also releasing this month. In 2022, South Korean gaming giant Nexon made a strategic minority investment of $400 million into AGBO. And following November, it was confirmed that Fortnite co-creator Donald Mustard had joined the production company as a partner after leaving Epic Games. Donald Mustard, I see him all the time at the Game Awards events throughout the years. He's a namestay in the Fortnite face, if you will. So
He is.
it's fascinating. In a new interview with Variety, the Russos said they have big plans in the gaming space, and while they're currently focused on large-scale transmedia projects based on new IP, they aren't ruling out creating tie-ins for their upcoming Avengers games or Avengers movies. We would definitely be open to it, Joe Russo said when asked about the possibility before adding, right now, what we're doing is creating new IP. There's even a game trailer for Electric State Kid Cosmo, which is available on Netflix as a game. Russo went on to discuss AGBO's current mission following Mustard coming on board, saying, quote, "We have a new partner at the company who is one of the greatest game developers in history, Donald Mustard. really have my man up. I mean, I get it's like Fortnite, right? Like a part of something huge, arguably the
Yeah,
biggest multiplayer
the biggest
live
of the
service
yeah.
ever. So I mean, okay, you know what?
It-
Maybe they're right. Yeah, he's probably one of the greatest. Um, Creator of Fortnite, and he's come in now to work with us on building out what we think the future of storytelling could be, which is some hybrid between linear and virtual and gaming. We're really interested in new ways to tell stories using technology. I mean, I was gonna say they could do it right, kind of like Fortnite, but Fortnite, Fortnite. What am I saying? We could do it right like Fallout. I mean, like Fallout has those games. They have the TV show. Cool tie-in that
yes.
kind of is canon. The only thing is we haven't seen the book end of that with Fallout 5, so I don't know how that's gonna like actually end. Like, if it'll actually be good. But I like that
I
idea.
think
I think there's a good way to do it. That could be a good way to do it. Um,
I think it's a like you're saying, yeah. I think they're going the right way with those IPs, and there's good opportunity for it to be successful. It's better than what we've seen in the past. I mean, just going off the top of my head, one of the weirdest adaptations of a video game to, um, well, I guess, yeah, video. What they're talking about is going from like movies to then video games, but like also going video games to movies. I'm thinking of Mortal Kombat early on. I think it was 1990s Mortal Kombat. It's like, okay, this is kind of cool, but at the same time, I'm like, what in the you guys are missing the plot, man. The most recent one where they kind of piggybacked off of Scorpion's like story, that was sick. So there's good
okay.
ways to do it. I think what's coming to fruition is a bunch of gamers or a lot of people like grew up playing video games and now they're getting into career paths of entertainment industry with movies, TV shows, and story writing. And if you have these opportunities where people come into it and they're just like, I know this better than everybody, and I'm going to show it the passion it deserves because they're so in touch with the story.
Yeah.
That's when we're going to like. I think that's why we keep seeing better adaptations going
Yeah.
into the
Okay.
years.
Okay.
I think that's why Fallout's really good. I think that's why The Witcher for the first like 2 or 3 seasons was really good because one, I think they were very loyal to the source material, but also you had actors and actresses playing the roles and they knew intimately the characters
Right.
from like extra like content and back lore and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Very true. Their final little quote after saying they want to find new ways to tell stories using technology. And so there are three of us together. So the three of us together are trying to explore and iterate around what opportunities there could be over the next decade using new tools and new technology to tell stories. And can we make a and can we make it? Can we make it? Okay, this guy just messed. Tom, what the heck, man? You just messed me up. You just put a double. Can we make
It's like
it?
the email I sent you before where I was like, huh?
Oh, Tom, how dare you, dude? Made me look silly. He said, he said, new technologies to tell stories. And can we make it true transmedia? Where the same assets that we're using for the CG in movies is also the same assets that are in the game, that are also the same assets in a virtual experience. Okay, that's where it gets a little interesting. Makes you curious how that would work. But I mean, the idea is not bad. It comes down to execution.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll see. I'm a little skeptical, but I mean, then again, it's Donald Mustard, Mike. Like, I don't. Who else do you need, man?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. If you have a good enough team around you, you're probably gonna make something good. We'll see. I'm mostly excited to see what comes of the success of the next series of like Avengers and what they're trying to
Yeah,
do in the future
yeah,
because there's certainly a null period right now where I think people are just wore out of the superhero movies
dude.
and the superhero story.
I did not watch that Captain America movie that came out recently,
Neither did I.
but
Yeah.
I heard nothing but it's buns. That's pretty much what I heard. It's like nobody liked it. The ratings were horrible. Like it's yeah,
Oh,
not good.
I didn't bother with the ratings. I just thought it wasn't going to be good, um, because I don't know what story they're trying to tell now.
Yeah, it's weird now, right? Like I don't know. I feel like for the most part it's run its course, and so I'm be fascinated to see what future Avengers movies are going to look like, and if they are able to redeem it. Because right now it just seems down bad. which
Yeah,
has
I
me
don't.
kind of worried about this. And just like, but like just Avengers games in general, like last Avengers game, like I mean, unless I'm thinking wrong, I felt like it just didn't do well. It's like it wasn't a blockbuster hit. I don't know.
No, not particularly. It's just weird, man, because you can't keep making the same movie over and over again with the same characters. You have to kind of mix it up and move on. I know they did that with X-Men. Like, when was the last like real X-Men movie? I'm not talking about Wolverine because that doesn't count. That's just a Wolverine movie,
Yeah, not talk about
and not
Logan, right?
just a Deadpool. I'm talking about like the totality of X-Men. I guess it was
It's been a
X-Men
while.
Armageddon. I thought it
Yeah,
was pretty cool,
no better than
but you're
me.
still rehashing the same characters.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's I don't know, like Avengers. The last movies I really enjoyed in the Marvel universe were the Spider-Man movies, and No Way Home and all that. I think there's a new Spider-Man movie, in the works. I don't know, those are my favorite. I think, and like the thing they did with the multiverse, like Spider-Mans, and
I
I
didn't
mean, that
even
was,
watch any of
dude,
those.
it was, oh man, it was so good. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool tying in, like getting the old actors back that originally played Spider-Man and somehow weaving them into one world. I just thought it was so sick, and
Yeah,
like everyone had a similar reaction to the theater of just like, what is happening? Whenever they like, because it was kind of a surprise. No one had any idea that was going to be a thing. So when it happened, it was a huge shock. I think to everyone in the theater. So
yeah. It's kind of a shame too when you got the new Captain America going in because Anthony, is it Mackie is his last
I
name?
think so. Yeah.
He is a really, really good actor.
Yeah.
So the fact that like people are saying it's not good, they're not interested, that's just tough, man.
Yeah.
You got to feel for him.
Yeah. Like it's not his fault. Like it's just like just poor
No.
writing and just like not probably uninspired and just not there anymore.
Yeah.
So,
Or it could be like just the audience in general was expecting something that was never going to come, you know? Because
yeah.
if you have the
Maybe
right expectations going into a movie, you're going to feel like the movie is more favorable than it probably should have been, or
that's
vice
true.
versa, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's all about
And
perspective. So I mean,
yeah, yeah, it truly is. At the end of the day, it goes back into what we were saying for the longest time. It's like it's a form of art, and the way you appreciate it depends entirely on your mentality and like where you're coming from. Now, there are
yeah.
things that are just objectively amazing, you
Yeah.
know, like some of Quentin Tarantino's storytelling is just like, whoa, that's just pretty sick. Like you did a really
Yeah.
good job, or
Dude. Yeah.
Scorsese and stuff. It's like
There's
there's a
those
certain way to
movies,
do
dude.
things.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Like I said, I went on a Tarantino kick like a couple years ago, just from watching all the movies. I was like, dude, why? Like, and like, it's like I see all the Tarantino movies, and I'm like, oh, that's where I've seen that reference a billion times, and like, I just
yes.
didn't know what it was from. And I was like, oh, it's Tarantino. Like, he just influenced like so much, and it's like, whoa. And so
Oh
seeing that,
yeah,
it's like I
yeah.
caught up on pop culture. I felt like watching some of that stuff.
Well, it's one of the reasons why I've been yelling at you and I've been yelling at Nick and I've been yelling at a few people. Just it is in your best interest to watch movies that are popular in America because it's about pop culture and it's about an
Yeah,
overall culture. It's not just like America because there's different cultures everywhere and like you should just be kind of aware of the culture of your country a little bit. Star Wars is a major part of like American culture and or like Back to the Future or Lord of the Rings. It's
right.
like
Yeah,
Lord of the Rings, I mean, that's by a British, English writer. It's like it's important to know your famous authors and your famous writers
it's true.
and like their storytelling. Uh,
Look, man,
yeah,
Lord of the Rings is on my list. Haven't seen it yet. It's on my list.
still insane. You can say that too because quite honestly, and I'm not even joking here. I truly believe in terms of movie trilogies, start to finish, Lord of the Rings is by far the best.
Okay.
By far the best.
Okay.
It is phenomenal. Peter Jackson did a fantastic job adopting Tolkien's work. He like did some liberties here and there, but it added to the story. There were like things that he added and that was just brilliance on his part. There were other things where he left out, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you probably should have kept that in because like it would have really helped out the super nerds, and they would have like you would have got like bonus
Watch
what's
the
it called brownies
I watched the 4 hour
from the
director's
bonus
cut.
nerds.
It's fine.
They have a director's cut,
I know that's
and
like very long.
it's still awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, you need to watch it. And it's one of those things where it's like, I'm telling you because if you don't watch it, you're missing out on popular culture.
Yeah. Hey,
That's
man,
what I'm
all my
telling you.
was all my fantasy kid gaming, right? Maybe it's time to translate to a movie and watch a
Yeah.
movie.
Like, let me put it this way, it's like you should be paying attention to not just artwork, but, like, music as well.
Oh yeah,
Like, there's certain artists where I don't care to listen to them, but I will listen to them so that I'm in the know.
yeah,
Like, you know what I mean?
yeah.
It's
That's true.
about it's kinda like being informed a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know, that's just my 2 cents.
I mean, no, no. I think it's a good point. Yeah, like music wise, I feel like I'm relatively on top of. Like, there's bands like the 1975. Like, I have to listen to the popular stuff because like there's just a mad cult following with them. So it's like it kind of makes sense to
Dude,
at least listen
yeah.
to the hits, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
at
it's
least the
probably
hits,
similar
but then you
vein.
get because they're mad cult followings, like,
Yeah,
you
like
don't know the
you
real
better listen
1975.
to the deep cuts. Or we're not
Yeah,
friends.
it's quite dude, I mean, we might as well talk about Radiohead. You better
Yeah,
listen
that's
to
yeah,
real
that's another one.
Radiohead, bro.
Have you listened to OK Computer all the way through 10 times? Yeah. Like,
Yeah,
like,
but what I'm saying is, like, listen to it to be informed.
yeah.
That's kinda what I'm saying.
I mean, no,
Not
yeah,
even that it's, like,
100%.
life-changing, it's just I think it's an experience that
Yeah.
I think people need to have.
Yeah. I mean, so you're telling me, Mike, that the Lord of the Rings trilogy is better than Shrek 1, 2,
Yes.
and the third. That's what you're telling me?
Yeah.
I love this.
It's better than Toy Story 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, dang, dude.
And
It's
that's my
crazy.
second, by the way.
I
It's my second. You
just,
think I'm joking.
I just love how
That's
I'm
my
like sitting there
second.
just trolling you. No laugh. Just like, oh, yeah, no, it's better. Shut up. It's better.
Yeah.
Like,
Like, I'm not joking, man.
yeah, yeah.
Lord of
You
the Rings,
pro.
best trilogy of all time. Second is Toy Story 1, 2, and 3. Yeah,
Okay.
easily.
Okay.
Easily. Clears everything else.
And then Shrek's third or like fourth?
I don't know, man. Shrek is me. Shrek is a movie that should have been one and done fairy tale.
Oh man, they're making a fifth one, dude. With their daughter's grown up, dude. See the trailer?
Yeah. No, I'm not gonna watch it either. But it's like,
This
yeah.
guy.
Your boy Quentin Tarantino,
Yeah.
his favorite trilogy of all time is Toy Story. That should tell you something.
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah.
Hey, I
Yeah, he
mean,
said that in an interview. He says by far you say it's my favorite trilogy and I refuse to watch anything after Toy Story 3 because the trilogy is a trilogy and I stick to that
in
and
the
it's a perfect
truest
ending.
form. That's really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
He said he started crying at the end of it too.
it's fair, dude. Like, it was so funny. I think when I watched Toy Story 3, I want to say I was close to going off to college, or I was like already out of college, and so that like really hit me. Like when I was watching
Oh
the
yeah.
ending of that, I was like, oh, like I actually relate to this probably more than most right now. So
Well, yeah, well, that's what I'm trying to say to you is like Toy Story is amazing, but there are points in your life where you're too busy and you can't get to it. It's like either you were too young, so it was like it was before your time, or it's like you're too busy. Maybe you have like you're full into career or college, or you have
yeah,
like 5 kids in the house. You're just trying to survive. You don't have the opportunity to go watch movies and shows. So you owe it not just to yourself, but to like people around you to watch it or to like
okay,
consume it.
okay,
And it's more about like being a part of the culture that you're within. Like I know I keep harping on it, but it's also it's just it's an experience and it would be better if you could relate to other people who enjoy it as well as you do.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
You don't realize how big of a disservice you're doing to yourself. Is what you're saying.
That's kind of what I'm saying, man. It's one of those things where it's like if you have the opportunity and the means to travel outside of your country, you
Yeah.
should do it.
Oh yeah,
You
for sure.
should
Yeah.
100% do it. It does not matter where you go. Just do it. You need to be in a place that you're uncomfortable, where you don't speak the language, or you have no idea what the heck you're eating, and
Okay.
you're pointing at the menu going, "Is this good?" And they're like, "Yeah." And you get it, and you're like, "What the heck?" And you taste it, and you're kind of grossed out by the look, but then you're like, "Oh, this is the bomb. This is the best thing I've ever had."
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm trying to say to you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
Go get that weird color
So
food, bro.
like side note, I do want to eventually do like a solo travel trip because I've never done like a true out of state solo travel trip, like minus North Carolina. Like I'm talking like go across the country or something. I don't know if I'm bold
I'm
enough to
telling,
like go to Spain on solo. I'll be
bro.
honest. I got to go with somebody, but like I'll go across
You want to
country, bro.
change your life? You want to change your life? Save up like 10 grand after the flight. Go to another country for like a month or two. Don't like ball out. Stay in hostels. Stay around other people around your age. Stay within the community. Make sure you're in a different country because when you use your phone, Make it so you can't access, like, anything on your phone, and just completely disconnect from your world and go into a completely new one, completely new culture. It will change your life and give you a new perspective on the earth, and it's like, you should absolutely do that.
It sounds like a very transcendent experience, and I'm not saying that, like, to be funny, it actually sounds like it would be, like, life
You
altering.
find out you
Like,
find out who you are
yeah,
very quickly,
sure, yeah,
because without the influence of people that you've been around your entire life to basically tell you who you are, that's not like they don't tell you who you are, but, like, they know you a certain way
yeah,
for a very long time, so they treat you a certain way because they've
yeah.
known you that way the whole time. They expect things from you. But if you go to a different country, you could literally be whoever you
Yeah,
wanted,
you're
and
starting from
that's either
0, right?
good or bad.
Yeah,
Good or bad.
yeah. Well, for better
So,
and for worse, right? Like,
yeah, that's what I
you
mean.
are, like, yeah, you are
Yeah.
starting over. So, I mean, yeah,
It's
dude, there's
a
there's part of
wild
that,
experience.
yeah, like, there's part of that for me that does sound very, like, romantic, right? Just, like,
Yeah.
just for a month, just unplug
All
kinda
of
thing.
this to say you need to go find out what the frick the Shire's about. You need to learn what a Balrog is, and you need to understand what Gandalf meant at the end of the second movie. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Alright, alright.
Get to it.
Alright, bro.
I love how you're like,
Alright, bro.
hands up.
Alright, bro. Why don't you talk about Acclaim, dude? We gotta wrap this thing, dude. We gotta wrap it
Oh,
up.
yeah, yeah. We do gotta wrap it up. This one's kinda short and sweet, kinda nostalgic for me, even though I just got done being super nostalgic. Acclaim, you might have heard of before, and if you haven't, congratulations, you don't need pain medication for your back. So, Comic Book is the website that we're gonna be covering. Michael Ruse, who we've covered multiple times, he wrote an article called "Classic Video Game Publisher Acclaim, uh, Returns." You know what's funny about Acclaim's logo? For the longest time, I thought the C's were K's. Literally, like,
I did too, I
forever.
won't lie. Yeah, I did too. I feel that.
Forever. It looks
I
like a
was right
K,
there,
like
yeah.
the way a
Yeah.
capital K.
Especially the first part. It's like a K.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, I'm right there, yeah.
pretty cool. But anyways, so many gamers of the 80s and 90s have probably seen the logo or publisher of Acclaim at some point in their life. The company is known for bringing several beloved franchises to consoles like the Super Nintendo, SNES, Super Nintendo Entertainment System, and Sega Genesis. This includes the popular fighter Mortal Kombat, which I
Beep,
love.
beep, beep,
The
beep, beep.
first person Dino shooter, Turok, making a comeback, by the way. Mortal Kombat
Bang,
1 came out
bang,
last year.
bang.
Pretty sick. And the influential arcade basketball game NBA Jam, which my friends were freaking addicted to.
Dude.
Unfortunately, the publisher has gone under back in 2004. However, after a little over 2 decades, Acclaim is officially returning with the goal of revitalizing the gaming landscape. A little bit of speculation, you know?
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah. As stated in a new press release, the new version of Acclaim says that it will accomplish this goal by supporting indie developers and bringing back some of its classic franchises. The publisher stated it will provide resources like funding, marketing, and PR support to the studios that sign with the company. Details of what franchises will return are not yet revealed. Additionally, the company did not say which indie studios it plans to support, but its new CEO, Alex Joseph, claims it will be revealing them soon. If I remember correctly, Alex Joseph, let's go to LinkedIn real quick. Let's see what he's
Alex
up
Joseph.
for.
So I'm gonna say he's related to Joseph Fares. Fares? Which is, hey, if he is, dude, we're about to get some bangers. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Hey,
I
dude.
gotta know. He 16 years. He was at Vim Global Consulting. Interesting enough, he's still technically there. There is yeah, he's mostly a consultant, former CEO, Graffiti Games. That's a pretty famous IP right there. Trying to go through his LinkedIn resume. He's probably gonna get a notification that I'm zoomed in on him. No, he seems but mostly come to flame there. But let's get into what Joseph had to say. It's an absolute honor and a pleasure to be leading the charge and bringing back Acclaim to the forefront of the games industry. We're fortunate that we have an extremely talented team that we've already signed some incredible indie titles, which will be revealing soon. Joseph has been in the games industry for more than 2 decades. Much of the experience is in market and publishing. He is the founder of Vim Global, a PR and marketing firm that has helped release tons of games like Guacamelee? Is that
Guacamelee, I
right?
remember that.
Guacamelee? Super Mega Baseball and Human Fall Flat. Human Fall Flat's actually a load of fun, and I've also
Mm,
heard of Sega
yep.
Super Mega Baseball. I'm actually never heard of Guacamelee before.
Dude, I
So,
don't. The only reason I know about Guacamelee is because it was one of like the biggest like promotional indie titles whenever the Xbox One first came out. 'Cause everyone
yeah.
was like, it was like one of the few titles that was on 360 and Xbox One early onset of Xbox One. So it was like Guacamelee. But yeah, that's why I know that.
Oh, yeah. Well, interesting enough. You know, I Super Mega Baseball was just like a traditional baseball game, a little bit arcadey, but Human Fall Flat was pretty fun because it was just obstacle courses with your buddies just being idiots, and it was one of the ones where like the characters were hard to control and they were doing all
Oh
this weird stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, they're
Man,
fun games. Let's continue into the story here. Not too much more. As mentioned above, a key goal for Acclaim this time around is to bring back some of its fan favorite franchises. In order to fulfill that goal, the publisher has formed an advisory board, which includes Russell Binder at Striker Entertainment, Mark Kaplan at Ridge Partners, and Jeff Jarrett. Is it Jarrett? I think so. Garrett. It's not
Jared.
Garrett. Jarrett
Yeah.
at Global Force Entertainment. Uh, so Jarrett over here, Global Force Entertainment. Here's a quote from him. So for more than 3 decades, I've had the privilege to have been a part of both of the wrestling and gaming universes, and I'm thrilled to now be a partner of the revival of Acclaim, an iconic publisher known for releasing some of the most legendary games of the 80s and 90s. From my early involvement with the publisher's hit 16-bit WWF titles to my experience helping shape the TNA wrestling series, which spawned the first video game wrestler to become a full-time roster member in the Squared Circle. I've seen firsthand the type of impact great games can have on players and fans. Resurrecting Acclaim is an opportunity to impart the same degree of passion and love to a new generation, and I'm excited to be involved. Lastly, Acclaim growth strategy will be supported by partners Vayner Funds, Phil Toronto. I wonder if that is Gary Vaynerchuk.
It probably is.
You think so?
Maybe. Yeah, I
There's no
know I
way.
think he has some funds, I thought. Or like a
I know
venture
he has a
capital. Yeah, I don't
fund. I
know.
mean, he's everywhere, isn't
Boehner
he?
funds.
That's not how you
Boehner
spell his last name.
funds. Vaynerchuk.
Trying to, oh, dude, Bloomberg hit me with that paywall. My dog over here whining.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I'll continue on. So, it goes into basically the Michael Ruiz over here giving a couple of things like, how do you feel about the game? What do you think about publisher? Personally, I think what's pretty cool is hopefully seeing the old IPs make a comeback. I think that'd be really nice. I know Mortal Kombat's already existing. Turok is making a comeback too. NBA Jam would be kind of sick to come back. I don't know if they're ever going to take down Take Two, but I don't know.
NBA Jam on Fire Edition,
Yeah,
number 2.
it'll be interesting. I'm gonna. What do you think of it? While you tell me what you think, I'm gonna look up some other IPs, see what they got going on.
So I think Acclaim. I'm very excited to see an old publisher back in the reins. And like kind of just they're taking like an underground approach. I feel like we're just kind of taking on indie games, trying that space as opposed to AAA. Certainly not as expensive going into any space. But I mean, they had success at one point, which I think is promising. And obviously, the gaming landscape has changed vastly in 20 years. It's night and day difference. But it has to be curious as to how they are going to kind of adapt to this new kind of landscape and how that's and hopefully they could succeed. I mean, I always it's this logo is so iconic. I remember seeing it on so many games. So the fact that they're
Yeah.
back and it gives that nostalgic kick, but also has me excited to see kind of what they can do.
You know something that's not really mentioned that it's kind of interesting, right? Do you remember Midway arcade games?
Sounds familiar.
Let me show you the logo. They no longer exist, but I will. Let me send this to you in DMs real quick. All right, check
I'll
this
view
out.
it on my phone. Let's see this. Midway.
So,
I don't know if I've. Maybe I
that might be
haven't seen
too
that
old
logo.
school for you.
I think it is.
Those of you that don't know, Kyle's a little bit younger than me. Midway
Yeah.
Games was when you loaded up an actual arcade, Midway Games would play like that logo I sent you, it would rotate and stuff, and then would also show Acclaim as well.
Mm.
So what Acclaim did was they essentially took the responsibility of taking Midway Games, their arcade games, and then porting it over to like other platforms and like console games. Now, there's no way. So they filed for bankruptcy, and the majority of their assets for Midway Games were sold to Warner Brothers.
Oh,
I
no.
did not know that happened. Now, because this happened in when did 2010 it went defunct, which is
Oh,
pretty
man.
crazy.
15 years
Um,
ago.
yeah, a long time ago. Jeez. Yeah, but there's a whole bunch of studios that ended up getting bought out. But basically, Midway Games was a whole bunch of pinball games as well as arcade. It's pretty cool. But yeah, this is kind of interesting. It's like I wonder and I'm curious what's going to happen in the future because where I live, their arcade is kind of making a comeback. I think it might have to do with just people being more isolated than they probably ever have.
Yeah, I
Working
agree.
from home mostly. Nobody's really going into the office much. If they are going to the office, they're kind of set to themselves. You get people that are in the service industry, but most people are like staying within their own clique, which isn't that like abnormal. That's kind of common. But the local watering holes, like the bars and like where people go to hang out, is like becoming less and less. Like clubs aren't a thing anymore. That's not even it. That's just weird. Nobody really goes there anymore.
Uh,
So what I've seen is you're getting more dogs, like dog parks, dog bars, dog
yeah,
things, because people have animals. There's cat cafes now where you can go get like coffee and tea, and you bring your cat, whatever. There's I'm curious if arcades can make a comeback. That'd be pretty cool. There's
yeah,
some there's some games if you remember me playing like Killer Queen, super fun arcade game, 4v4 games. Like if we
yeah,
can start getting into that zone where we have like smashing shooters or like joysticks, multiple buttons, very simple,
yeah,
but you can have it like it's the couch co-op play style at an arcade.
yeah.
That could be fun.
Yeah, I
Be
think it would be
expensive.
fun. Yeah,
It'd
there's
be fun.
I was trying to think, I think there's only one area, like, genuine place near me that actually still has, like, an old style arcade. Pretty sure it's, like, a quarter arcade too, it's that old school, like, they
Oh
literally
yeah.
just go with a roll of quarters and could play, so, there's only, like, I think there's only one place near me that actually does that, like, properly, so yeah, dude, I'd love to see
Yeah.
more of that.
For me, I can think of there were four or five at the height, and I know one closed down and one moved slightly to a different area, but the vast majority of them still exist. I could still see it
That's
making a
good,
comeback in different
that's good.
areas. That's more to do with how like we have nearby areas that are kind of stuck in the 70s already.
Yeah.
So not the 70s, the 80s, but yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
But
But are there arcade
that's really all
bars?
we got going on for this week, man.
Yeah,
I don't really have much more to add about Acclaim. I just thought this was really cool, and I was really happy we had the chance to bring it up.
yeah, I agree. I definitely agree, it was, nice to talk about, you know? Um, yeah. Good stories. We worked what we had this week. I think I still enjoyed the stories, but it was hard to find stuff. I won't lie. Be a little transparent. It's kind of hard to find interesting stuff this week.
Yeah,
So, oh
yeah. This
man,
week was kind of slow, kind of dead, but that tends to happen towards the end of the month. You know, end of the month of February, moving into a new one,
yeah,
and beginning of the year. We're always gonna. Honestly, we've been having so many heavy hitters week after week after week of stories that it's just kind of nice to keep it short and simple. No bad news. We don't talk about any of the layoffs. More like optimistic news. Like, hey, we got new games coming here. Like just a recap. It's like Rockstar Studios purchased new Rockstar Games purchased a studio down in Australia. They're famous for LA Noire, and they're trying to like bring them into the fold to try to do something. We don't really know. It's kind of early on the uh the idea of what's going on, but a remastered version of Tony Hawk Pro Skater is something I'm really excited about. Russo brothers talking about building a game and like developing based on new IPs that are coming. Well, not IPs, but new movies coming out could be really cool. And then Acclaim making a comeback. It's not all doom and gloom, with all the like layoffs and
No,
market taking dives. Nobody knows what the future holds. It's gonna be. I feel like this is one of the more positive episodes we've had.
I mean,
No layoffs. We could have talked about them though. Don't get us
it's
wrong.
more. Yeah, I mean, I was gonna mention there's at least one layoff article a week still.
I
So
I saw it.
it's
I
like,
saw it. I'm
yeah,
like, I don't want to talk about this.
yeah, yeah. No, it's still ongoing, but hey, gaming's one of the few things that upward trajectory. I think in terms of game
That's
quality, so isn't
100%,
fading.
dude.
So yeah,
You're 100% right.
give me a
Speaking of
set.
gaming, let's go ahead and end the episode before we get any further. I'm gonna go over here, get myself some more water, a little bit of a snacky snack, sit down, start gaming. So let's let the people go,
Go
shall we?
man, let's go man. Get that dog taken care of, dog.
That's a fact. I gotta figure out where he is. But yeah, he's wide awake. He's tired. Let's get out of here. All right. Well, he's wide awake, looking at me like I got to use the bathroom and I'm going to sleep. Anyways, thank you all for joining us. If you want to check out any of the articles that we cover, we have tiny URL links in the description below. We also have timestamps for anything that we've covered. If you want to check at the start of the topic of discussion, if you take a break, you can always come back. And if you made this far, we absolutely appreciate you. And we'll see you next week. I'm your host, Michael Nancy, my co-host, Kyle Heath. This is the M2 Podcast. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.